Okay, this video is just some helpful key combinations really. Just speeds up working with rather than having to click buttons and things, find things on the menus. So first one, very easy, is just space bar, space plays and pauses. That's the easiest one. One I use all the time. It's sort of a keyboard mouse combo. Instead of, you can obviously zoom on the toolbar up here, but I prefer to hold Alt key and scroll the mouse wheel, which zooms in and out. Just quicker, I find. To copy something, like here, the prayer thing,
all
response.
shall be well, and all shall be well.
The audio again is really useful. You can see all shall be well, all shall be well, everything shall be well, and the same pattern here. So I'm just going to take this, then hold Alt while you're moving it, and it creates a copy instead of moving. And pop that over there, and then you get
all shall be well.
the next one is snap. So the little magnet icon turns on and off, snapping. See how that snaps to the nearest thing, or it snaps to the playhead, or without that you can move it freely. Snap on and off is the N key, which I tend to find turning off snap while I'm trying to review things is better, because otherwise you just want to go slightly before this join rather than on it. The trim mode, which I was using before to do the trim like that, you can get to that with the T key. That puts it into that mode, and you can go back to normal with the A key. That's just a normal mouse pointer. One I use a lot is Control key with backspace, and that splits up a clip into two pieces, which you can treat separately basically. Control Z, as most programs, is undo. Oh, I don't use this a lot, but it seems useful. So if you're wanting to add a transition to something, let's say I've got two clips. I'm going to stick some new clips in together at the end here to save messing up what I've got. Okay, here's two clips, and I'll just trim them a bit like that. Maybe I'll trim right into them to show you really what's happening.
Huge thank you to everyone.
Asked me to say a few.
There we go. So that's not very good, but that's not the point. If I now press the V key, V for Victor, then it moves this playhead to the nearest transition, the nearest cut. And you can see it's highlighted one side of it in green. Sometimes that's red, depending on whether it's right at the end of the clip. Obviously I've just trimmed it back, so it's not right at the end anymore. If I press the U key now, U for umbrella, then it cycles through what's selected green. And if I get both selected in green, and I press Control and T, that has inserted the default transition, which for me is cross dissolve, which is the fade.
To everyone.
Asked me to
So there we go. You can see it's also put an audio transition, which is a crossfade. If I stretch out this transition, it'll be more obvious.
And a huge thank you to everyone who
me
has.
to say a few
And you
words.
could see that crossfading and hear it crossfading as well. Now, another useful one here, if you have a transition selected, say with the V key, so it's gone green at the edges there, if you press the forward slash, just forward slash on its own,
And a huge thank you to everyone
Asked
who
me
has.
to say a few words.
it will actually just play through that transition with a little bit either side.
And a huge thank you to everyone
Asked
who
me
has.
to say a few words.
So that's quite a useful one. Not that I actually use that very much, but it is quite a useful one. Now, let's say this part of the service, I suddenly had something new to stick in here, let's say. There are different ways of doing this, but my usual way, you can select, obviously drag and select everything like that and drag it to make a gap. That's fine, that works. But a better way, if I press the Y key, then you can see it's now selected everything underneath and after the time marker. So say I stuck that because I want to move from this intro, Manda's intro clip onwards. If I put my cursor over Manda and press Y, then that's everything onwards from there. Okay, you can see though it hasn't selected this top layer at all. If instead I press Alt and Y, then that selects everything on every layer afterwards. So very easy then just to move everything. Oh, there's one more, which is disable a clip. Now, you might not use this much, but if you select a clip and press D, you can see all of it's been disabled. So it's now just black and quiet. Now, it might not be that useful, but sometimes if you've got things on another layer, so where Andy's got his responses in the prayers that come
All
up,
shall be well.
if I decided I didn't want that, but I don't really want to delete it, I can just press D, and it won't come up anymore.
All shall be well.
There we go. And pressing D again re-enables it. So I use that most, I would say, in the credits, because I have in my save template, I have lots of positions of where people can have text. So say I don't know, say I didn't want this reading to be here on the first page, rather than delete it, I'll just press D, and then I can always decide, oh, I've forgotten somebody's name later on, and just put that back in and change it to somebody else's name or something.